Hello, Sofa Squad. It's Paul with reporting live from my sofa. How are ya? I'm doing pretty good. I just got out of the shower, getting ready to go get my hair did. And I wanted to come on first and make a video so we can have a discussion on the old Sofa Squad channel about this situation that is playing out currently as we speak. And that is Mr. Michael Drejka. And I'm just going to go over some basics of the day of the incident that took place, some of my commentary on that, some of my commentary on what I saw on the first day of opening statements and whatnot. So, without further ado, let's review. Okay, so let's just start with the day of the event. So that was July 19th, 2018. Brittany Jacobs and her boyfriend, Marquise McLaughlin, pull up to a convenience store. They park in a handicapped spot. Now, we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, with the car still running, Marquise takes his son. He goes into the store to get, the family some snacks and whatnot. He leaves Brittany and their two youngest children in the car. Remember, car's running, yada, yada, yada. So now we have some videotape evidence to see what was going on, but essentially what happens is a man approaches the car. He's looking inside of it. The window, according to him, he can't tell who's in there. The windows are tinted. Now, backstory, and the man approaching the car is Drejka. He has a handicapped family member or an ex-girlfriend, something along these lines. It is a sore spot for him to see people parking in handicapped spots that don't need the spot. So there's that. So he starts looking in this car. Basically, an altercation, a verbal altercation takes place between him and Brittany. And, since she does not hide the fact that, they were arguing back and forth. And at one point she said something essentially of, "Do you want me to go get my man?" There's some comment made like that. And so this altercation is going on. Now, another customer, Robert Castelli, enters the store while Michael Marquez is still in the store. He's at the cash register with his son paying for the stuff. And it's essentially telling the guy behind the clerk, hey, there's an argument going on outside. Something's going on out there. So Marquez, you see him, he gives the money and kind of runs outside real quickly. And so then the video evidence switches over to what we see taking place out there. He goes up, you see him push Drejka down, and then this is going to be a point of contingency for, a lot of people in the courtroom. What I'm seeing is he pushes him down. There's a few seconds of Drejka pulling a gun, Marquez backing up and turning away type situation. And during that moment, he gets shot. Now, let's kind of break it down a little bit. So first of all, let's start with this. Should she not have parked in the handicap spot? No, this is not cool. I get that. I had a grandmother who was handicapped, and I can remember, little bits about it. I can remember, us being accused of not being able to use the handicap spot when, she was in a wheelchair. That was a whole other event in and of itself. But I can remember us running into that of people parking in spots that didn't need them. It's a thing. It's, we're not even arguing that. Is it worth losing a life over? Absolutely not. Now, when he goes into the store and leaves her in the car, this is my whole thing. And we'll talk about some back information too. So this gentleman, Mr. Drejka, so he has, some history, some family history, things like that with people who are handicapped and need these spaces. It's a sore point. That's fine. He's entitled to that. But where I have an issue with the situation is him going up to this car. There is a female and two children in there. Now, he claims he didn't see who was in the car, but he's looking in the car. He's doing this and that. He's not uniformed. He in no way looks like an officer or anything of this nature. That's going to freak somebody out, or it's going to make somebody say, what is this person doing? You're starting off on the wrong foot in this interaction. So, apparently, she rolls down the window, and this is where this interaction takes place. So let's talk about kind of the angle that people are going for here. Now, obviously, the state is saying that this is, he murdered this guy. And the defense is saying, no, this is self-defense. This is a stand your ground situation. Drejka's attorneys are basically saying that once this interaction took place with Brittany, and when she was like, do you want me to get my man, that he perceived this as a threat and was in fear for his life. And it just escalated to, okay, well then, the Marquez comes out, he pushes him down, and he was fighting for his life. So there's two avenues we can look at here. He approaches Brittany, they're arguing back and forth. And he fears for his life when she says that. Well, then you leave. My thing is this. I feel like if this is that big of an issue, you take pictures of the car, you report it to the police, something. I understand that in a world like that, you're thinking, well, nothing will be done, and this, that, and the other. If you approach someone to start telling them what to do in this situation in a public environment, you have to be prepared for a confrontation. Period. End of story. At the end of the day, people don't want to be policed by police officers for the most part, let alone a citizen, regardless of, what they're doing. It's just, right, wrong, or indifferent. It's human nature. So there's many ways that interaction could have gone very differently. And when the gentleman came out and all he knows is there's an argument going on, he comes out. This argument from what the evidence is saying was enough for people to say, there's something going on here. And so it's enough for a bystander to come in and say, hey, there's an altercation going on out here. So this guy, knowing his girlfriend and small children are out there, runs out there and he disarms the situation basically. I mean, he pushes the guy down. He's like, get away from my family. At that point, for me, that's where I'm just like, okay, Drejka, there was no need to pull a gun out at this point. There's absolutely no need. Absolutely no need. If he had stood up and they had continued going, Drejka could have gotten up and turned around and walked off. Is how I'm looking at it. But also, even let's go on okay, I want to pull my gun out and scare this person, so he pulls it out. Well, this guy was clearly backing up away from the situation. So, and evidence from witnesses is showing that that's what took place too. So this is going to be they're going to dissect this video up one side and down the next when they get into that part of the testimony. Let's talk about some of the eyewitnesses there. So like I said, one of the eyewitnesses came in. They said that, there's an altercation going on out here. They said that they did not see Marquise taking a step towards him once the gun was pulled. And another witness says, like, after the shooting, she says that basically Drejka was like, everything's fine, everything's on video, and he almost sounded like proud of this. Now, during his interview with the police, he, to me, also sounds like he's trying to align himself as another police officer. Like the way that he talks, even some of his language, which is like, when he answers the yes or no question, he's like, that's a negative. Well, I placed my weapon in the console, and, that's a negative, not affirmative. 10-4, over and out. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, okay, is that necessary? I mean, he's not a police officer. He's not a parking attendant. He's not a hall monitor. Probably was a hall monitor in school, let's be honest. There's nothing wrong with being a hall monitor, but I'm just saying. This is a huge part of the context for me about this case that gets me like, whoa, in addition to what we already talked about. So this is not the first time that this has happened over this parking spot. And that's where I'm like, that's okay. Let's dig a little deeper. 5 months before this situation happened, the defendant, Drejka, he had threatened another driver about parking in the handicapped parking spot in a similar spot at this store. So the man's name is Richard Kelly. And essentially what happened with him is he has like some kind of an account. And he can like go in the store and basically be like, hey, I got a soda or whatever. So he pulls up, parks in the spot, leaves his truck running. He was in a work truck and goes in, grabs a soda, comes out. And he basically comes out to this guy like taking pictures, things of this nature, and of his car. And this is where this gets a little bit murky. But Kelly was saying that the conversation got very heated and that Drejka had said something to the effect of, I should shoot you and fatally harm you. Also during this interaction, the owner of the store witnessed this and was on the stand to talk about this. He states that he told Drejka, you shouldn't get in an argument over just stupid stuff, And Drejka was basically like, I just can't help it. I get myself into trouble. So, this has happened. He knows he has a temper. He knows that this, he's very heated about this. So during that same event, Drejka said that he was going to send those photos to this guy's boss. And apparently he called the place of work and left a message and was like, if I had a gun, I would have shot him. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, honestly, that right there, I'm just like, okay, whoa, hold on. You don't go out threatening to do stuff like this over illegal parking. And these people shouldn't be parking in these spots, but, it's absolutely no. So there's that. So when I learned that context of it, I was like, oh, this guy's just looking for this. You know, it's the old adage, if you go out looking for trouble, you're going to find trouble. So that's kind of the situation with that. Now, you know, when the defense was up there, you know, he was saying, you know, that Drejka was shocked and confused, and, you know, it was confusion on, you know, Mr. Drejka's part. He had no idea what happened to him, and that danger may not have been, you know, actual, but, you know, the state of mind, the appearance of danger was there, and that caused him to do this. Because essentially what he's also saying is, this was out of the blue that he got shoved to the ground. And I mean, he did get shoved to the ground. I'll give him that. Yeah, I mean, he got a steady blow to the ground. And essentially, he didn't know what was going on, this and that. Well, and I'm not denying that like, that probably happened. But I'm also like this. That's why you don't approach people and tell them what to do like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you approach someone like that, you have to be anticipating an argument of some sort as your bottom line that this is what's going to happen. Number two, if you're a gun carrier, I have no problem with people having guns, things of this nature, responsible gun owners, you know, who have legal firearms and all that kind of stuff. So to me, it's just like, if you're going to be carrying like that in public, you have to have a threshold for what pushes you over the edge. If you're going to be carrying in public and doing confrontational things with people, that's asking for trouble. You know, in my book, you don't go out there and stir the pot and then start firing off when the pot gets stirred and boils over and claim, you know, oh, this is self-defense. It just doesn't work that way. And again, with the video, they're going to watch this video over and over and over, and I'm just not seeing an imminent threat to him, especially in my mind when he calls that threat. There was another similar one, and it's sad, but I thought this was it. I was like, isn't this the one where the guy shot the teenagers over the loud radio? Or was this the one where the guy turned around and shot the guy texting in the movie theater? I mean, it's just, you know, why? Why? You know, and then they all claim, oh, you know, I was scared, you know, stand my ground. It just doesn't work that way. You know, and these are just, I mean, this guy here was stopping at the convenience store to get treats for his kids and girlfriend. I mean, come on. And my next thing is this. If you're going to approach a car, let's say he didn't know who was in the car, whatever, and then he sees it's a female. This is a grown man. This is a 47-year-old man talking to this female with two young children in the car. That's going to make anybody would be uncomfortable with somebody approaching their car and doing weird stuff, and then you have to be like, can I help you? What's going on? You know, and they start coming at you like, why are you parked here? Da 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 da. It's a confrontational situation. But if you're a female with your two young children in the car, it's even more so. So that's kind of all I want to say about this to get this conversation going right now. Again, I'm going to be watching some of the testimony after the fact when this takes place, and we'll be coming on here for sure to talk about the verdict, because this is going to be an interesting one. I'm very curious to see what the jury sees in this. You know, so far what I have seen is just, this is not a stand your ground. This is not a self-defense. This is another reason of don't go looking for trouble. You know, don't go starting things with people, basically. And so that's it. So I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Drop it like it's hot in the comment section. And until next time, I shall talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.